Okay, I think we're live here. Let me know if the audio is good. We're in a different setup today, so everything could go wrong. Hello, I'm Steve. Welcome to another Mac84 live stream. Today we're going to be unboxing some stuff. I'm blocking the box. But let me know in the chat. I see a bunch of people here already. Hello, Matt. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Jay. Hello, Pseudos. Hello, Ancient Mac. Got a lot of people here already. Oh, great. Off to a good start. So I am in a different location. I'm upstairs into sort of, hey, Robert, the closet area of my office, which kind of took the doors off. Yeah. So using a different computer today. So unfortunately, if there's any issues, it's probably on my own self for setting this up 5 minutes before I wanted to go. But yes, let me just talk a little bit about what you see in the background. So this is my 2011 iMac that used to be my main computer up until the guys at Mac84, including Jay in the chat, convinced me to get a Mac Pro. And so this iMac still works. Unfortunately, it has a failing GPU. So unfortunately, that is a problem with these models. I can go ahead and replace the graphics card in there, but I don't think I'm going to do that right now. It usually just sits there off. I do have it turned on once in a while to access files from it. So that's just a project. It's off to the side. I had to move it off my desk because my desk isn't that large. And I replaced this with a 30-inch Apple Cinema display, and there's a Mac Pro Tower next to it. So, oh, thank you for hitting the like button, Robert. That's very nice. And so, yeah, so today I'm just going to be a little casual stream here. I have some stuff here and behind me that we're going to just look at and take a look at. And yeah, we'll go from there. So hopefully everybody's doing well. We're not going to go on for too long because Mac84 is tonight, so I don't want to wear out my voice or anything. But yeah, so hope you guys are doing well. So some things I've just as I clean up here, I find different CDs and stuff like that. So it's just fun to look through. But before I get to the box of stuff I was sent, I just found some iBook software restore CDs, and so this actually looks like a complete set. So we have iBook software restore and install. And then we have a copy of iMovie 2. So always nice to find these. So this is actually a version of 9.1 that's on these CDs. And if the Macintosh Guard website does not have them, I will end up uploading those. Because I always like to make sure that all the discs that I find that maybe somebody else can't find are nice and neatly uploaded. So, hello Terry, hello ICT, hello Philip. A lot of people joining. Hello. Might be a good time to start doing this, but usually it's a little crazy. Yeah, so if the Garden already has them, I won't upload them, but always nice to find original discs here. This I know the Garden has, Storybook Reaver. It was a children's educational edutainment title back in the day. And we have Chess 2 for the Macintosh. This is just a chess game, but it comes with this this little Ricochet, I believe, or Ricochet strategy game, which is pretty neat. So yeah, and then these probably a lot of you have already seen. This is on Macintosh Garden already. This is a 1997 Mac Advocate CD. And it has some video clips and some Mac talking points and stuff on it. It's pretty neat. This is the 1997 edition. Has the 1984 QuickTime video and everything. Yeah, so yeah, good times, good CDs. So I'm going to put that down here. Now, what you kind of can't see, let me see if I can pan down a little bit. There's quite a lot of towers down here. Yeah. So we got a few things here, and I'll be going over some of those in a bit. But yeah, so yes, above me, you did correctly see there's an iBook over here. I believe it's a G3 model, 500 megahertz. And then there's a titanium PowerBook here. I have a box to an iSight there. There's an iPhone box up there. A bunch of books. I have a little thing that we'll show you in a second. I almost forgot to take that down. And my my 2008 MacBook is hiding up the top of that those tower of books there. So yeah, so nothing was sent through the mail here. This is just all stuff that's been accumulated here. Now this is a titanium. It has the front latch here and I won't bring it down because everything else will come down with it, but I assure you it is a titanium PowerBook. So yeah, let me talk about the stuff that I actually got in the mail here. So let's try and not knock everything over as I reach back. There's not a lot of room here at all. But let me bring the box over here. And it is full of goodies, and it's also, you're probably getting an earful with the microphone being so close to the box there. Oops. This will be a good time for me to turn Do Not Disturb on my phone on so I don't get interrupted here. But yeah, so I, from time to time look at some of the Facebook groups that have stuff for sale, the Macintosh groups and stuff. And there's nothing really that I need, but whenever I see something I'm interested in, sometimes I'll send a message or something like that. So I got in touch with a guy named Jim, and he's on one of the many great Facebook groups that are Macintosh related. So you got Low and Mac, Vintage Apple Enthusiasts, and all those good groups. PowerPC Gaming Lounge, that's a good one. So I started talking to Jim, and I originally wanted to buy an ATI card off of him because a lot of the ATI cards, or the graphics cards rather, in my G4 towers, a lot of them are just the stock AGP models, and if you're playing a game or anything like that, you may want something better than 16 megabytes of video memory. So what I ended up doing was contacting him, and I arranged to buy a video card. And he had one or two other things posted for sale, so we got into a conversation, and I ended up buying just a whole bunch of stuff. So I think I got a pretty good bargain on what there is here. I do have a list here, so I'll be using it as a cheat sheet. But we got some goodies here, and just like to go through them here. So some of them are more exciting than others. Some of them maybe I would only find exciting. But yeah, just wanted to share, because anything that I unbox here, you'll probably be seeing on another live stream or a video. One or two of the items in here is definitely connected to a video, and why I sort of snagged this whole collection of stuff. So let's go from there. There's some packing stuff I'll clean up later. So this is an EA Research new bus video card. So this is for a 68K era Macintosh. And yeah, I don't know much about this. It's just a video card. Some of the stuff is untested, but I'll be testing it in some videos here. Looks like it's a pretty beefy video card. There's memory modules on the back and the front soldered on here. So yeah, this is EA Research, copyright date of 1994. Hello, Dysfunctional Wombat. And yeah, looks like a standard DV15 connector on the front. You can never have enough NuBus video cards, so this will be useful for my testing. I'm doing well, Aaron. How are you? And so yeah, I just noticed on here, maybe a bad solder job from the factory, but if you notice on one of these chips, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's a little jump wire right in the center of the frame if the camera wants to do its job and focus, but I don't think it's actually going to do that. You might be able to see it right there. I'm too far away to mess with the manual camera controls at this point. But you see there's a little jumper wire connecting one leg of that little chip there to the other. Just a little interesting thing. I guess that's easier to just fix it there than to make you a brand new one. So that's one item that we'll put over to the side here. Let's see what else we got here. He was very kind to label these, so I have an understanding of which ones I'm looking at here. Okay, and this is, yes, so I believe, there we go. Yes, this is a 1988-1989 Macintosh 2 monochrome video card. So this is just a very simple Macintosh video card here. Nothing too crazy or anything. But it is monochrome, which is sort of interesting. It sort of stood out for me. So yeah, this is made for the Macintosh 2. It's probably your low-end card, or one of the low-end cards. I do have a monochrome display for it. I have a 13-inch monochrome display, so this card will probably have a good home in that Macintosh 2, at least when I'm trying to put like 5 video cards in there. It has 2 electrolytic capacitors on there, and they don't look the cleanest, to be honest with you. Thankfully, I believe I do have those values. Those are 47 microfarad, 16 volt You'll see this in a recapping video, I'm sure, because, yeah, I do not want to leave those on this card. So I just checking up with the chat here. Oh, Pseudo's found another iMac. Oh boy. I don't believe I have any iMac that's faster than like 400 megahertz. So, hey, how about that? Yes, the 16 volt 47 microfarad capacitors are the bane of every classic Macintosh user's existence right now. I haven't tested any of this. It's just come right out of the box. So the seller was kind enough to test some things before having it sent to me. So I'm aware of some of the things that are working. We'll get to that when I get to that. But yeah, so this is pretty cool. It's a monochrome video card. I don't really think there's any value in some of the things like this. Like, it's a monochrome video card, and it's like, yeah, I mean, black and white video. It's fine with me. But yeah, so I'm gonna put that. Actually, you know what? Just, yeah, you know what? I'll keep. If I don't keep it organized, I will forget what is what. So let's do. Yeah, the capacitor is relatively cheap until you go ahead like me and go on this buying spree and buy like $200 worth of capacitors. I mean, that's just me though. You need a lot of capacitors. So yeah. Yeah, well, I have a good stock right now, so I should be okay for the time being. Time will tell. So let's see what else we got here. That we'll save for a little later. You might have caught what that was already. Maybe not. And this I'll open in a sec. There are some things that have. Oh, this is. Yeah, this was just one of those things that I was like, yeah, sure, throw it in there. I believe this is just some. It actually says not working. Did not work in a UMAX or G4. This looks like just like a standard PC, not a Macintosh, but it's just a standard PC PCI video card. I believe it's PCI. That could, no, I don't think it's ISA. That is PCI, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, just a standard little video card. Might be able to use on a PC. I actually was building a PC for comparison purposes or something, and could have used one of these. Let's see. Yeah, 200 caps, $200 gives me a good pile. Usually shipping's about $9-10, something like that. So it wasn't too bad. The thing that really got me was the axial capacitors for the Macintosh 2CX and 2CI. Those are the little, ones where the pins come out on the left and the right, and they go flat on the board. Those are about $1-2 each, where the capacitor is usually like 50-60 cents. So added up when I wanted to get a bunch of those. But yeah, just a standard little PC video card here. Not bad to have. Looks like it has expandable memory sockets, which is interesting on some of these. You see two of them have little memory things in there, and yeah, two of them don't. I think the shipping is fairly reasonable. It's usually like $10 for as much as you could cram in the box. So that's why I sort of went overboard and bought more than I would have. I think I originally was at like $50 or $60, but I kind of went overboard there. Yeah, I think I ordered from Mouser. My first recapping purchase, I was very impatient. It was stupid of me. I just should have waited because the Mouser stuff came in like a day or two. It was insane. I ordered it like very late at night one night, and it came like the day after. So it was really, really crazy. And so I was on Amazon. This is must have been when I did my first video. When I did the recapping video for the Macintosh 2CX back in, geez, I think it was like 2018, or maybe it was in 2017 at that point. But anyway, I just bought one of these like miscellaneous kits that came with just the regular through-hole capacitors, and I thought, oh, that'll work. And yeah, I guess they could have, but yeah, they weren't really what I should have been buying. But now I know. I just use Mouser or DigiKey, whatever has the best stuff in stock. I just got to see what is in stock and what works best for you, because sometimes the prices dictate you have to buy 100 of them or something like that. So, okay, let's see what else there is. That's something I'll go over in a second. Same with this box. These will be for last. Save the goodies for last here. This is something I purchased. I didn't get it. In fact, I have to make sure this thing works. It's one of those little caliper tools. You just measure a distance. So you put something in between and you measure the exact distance. I have to measure something, which is sort of plaguing me of the exact size for a replacement of something. Christian from Macintosh Garden probably knows exactly what this is for. So if he watches this stream later, he'll be like, oh yes, I remember telling him to order that thing. So I have ordered that thing, and that thing is here. I will put this thing to the side so I don't lose it. Hey, Bruce! RS Components. Ah, yes. Lucky Bruce. That sounds like a very good website. Yeah, so the caliper is a really cool tool. I won't be measuring caps with those, but I guess I could if I had to. Okay, what else is in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Oh, so this is cool. I'm always, you probably heard me say it many times before, I'm a sucker for like video capture devices, and this is a video capture card. And so what's nice about this is you have an S video input and a composite video input and a DB15 output. So I believe this will be able to run video out from a machine, and we'll be able to input video rather to a machine. I don't know the exact branding of this. Let's see if this had it on here. IX Micro TV Video. Okay, so yeah, I've heard of that brand before. I think I have a video out card from them, but not a video capture card. So yeah, video capture cards are neat. I dig them. I used to play around with the video input built into my father's old Macintosh 7500 forever ago, because it had S-video and composite inputs, and we had an old VCR, and I had it plugged in. It was basically my TV for me and my brother for a while, because we didn't have a TV. So the old computer was a TV. Nice, 15-inch viewable CRT. What more could you want? Let's see, just catch up on the comments here. Yep, the TV tuner cards, I've had a few of those as well. Now with the transition to digital TV, it doesn't really pay to have those. Thankfully, composite and S-video are easily adaptable. Yes, you could use one of those analog to digital antenna boxes and stuff like that, but yeah, it's sort of a little bit silly to go overboard on that. But okay, let's see what else we got here. This is here's another capture card. This is cool because it has some goodies with it. And so Jim was saying, oh, I have 3 video capture cards. I have 2 of these, and I have a USB one, but I want to keep one. I said, keep the modern one for yourself. let me mess around with the old stuff. If you want to actually use anything, I'd say use something modern. Don't rely on old hardware like this. So this is a Video Wizard by Micro Conversions Incorporated. So we have the manual here, and we have a floppy disk here. That is for Mac OS, PCI graphics, and video software. Disk 1 of 1, which is always good to see. So we have the full disk there. This is a user guide, which is dated January 28th, 1998. And so this is just telling us, let's see what inputs this thing has. It's funny because in the manual they're installing this into a machine that already has the AV inputs there. If it wants to focus on it, you can kind of make that out. But they're installing the card into a machine that already has the composite inputs and stuff like that. But that's interesting, very interesting. So this it's a little beat up a little bit. It has a copyright date of 1996 on it, so this board was around for a while. Let's confirm in the manual what inputs this thing has. So we have S-video input, composite video input. We have cable input for broadcast TV antenna. And then we have S-video output, and then a DB15 monitor connection. So we have in and out, which is nice. And then we have our standard video card output for our Mac. So this is pretty cool. So it's like an all-in-one card. And ooh, I see some, I see some old caps, which may need to be replaced at one point or another. But yeah, this always makes it a little concerning looking at this stuff. But yeah, hopefully they haven't leaked or anything like that. I only see 2 of them actually, so that's not too bad. But yeah, it's really cool. It has the manual and the disc, so I will be sure to play around with this at one point in time. I might even do some S-video output capture into a YouTube stream to help capture the output of old Macs, so I could do a game or something. Yeah, so that might be fun to play around with. Even if it's not fun, I'll probably do an 8-hour live stream of that. What else we got here? Just an Ethernet card. This is a Kingston Ethernet card. It looks like it's is it a 10100 card? I'm assuming it would be at this point. I'm looking for a date on the back of the card, seeing if there's any hints of the date. It's a PCI card. I would almost guarantee this is a 10100 card. It would be very odd to have just a 10 megabit card, but who knows? Maybe it might be. Yeah, so just a Kingston card, model KNE30T. The chipset on here is the one with the little crab on it. I forget the company behind that, but the Realistic maybe, or I forget the names of it. But yeah, so I could take a look at that and just see. But yeah, that'll be interesting to mess around with. I have some Macs that the Ethernet card built in is only like 10 megabit or whatever. Realtek, yes, that's right. That's only like 10 megabits. So if I had a 100 meg card, yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all. So yeah, it's a Realtek 8029AS for whatever that means. So hey, Trina, welcome to the party. All right, so that's one Ethernet card here, and let's see what else we got. We have, I think this is just a second one of those Ethernet cards. Just need res edit an extension to make it work. Well, that sounds like fun. You have to email me the instructions on that one. That doesn't sound too exciting. Yeah, and then an identical Ethernet card. So we got two of them. So hopefully those will work with minimal tinkering required. Got a bunch of people in the chat now. Hello, everybody. Anybody I missed? Hello. Got some packing stuff here. What is this? There's a lot of tape on here. What is this? Oh, that's right. There's another one of those. All right. This is interesting. This is. If I can open this up here. And I think I have one of these already, but what's interesting is the documentation that came along with it. So I believe this is an ATI Radeon 7000 card, and I believe this is just your standard PC card here. So this is not made for Macintosh, but it is your standard PCI ATI Radeon 7000. It does have 32 megabytes of memory, so it's not bad. It has DVI, VJ, and S-video output. So it's a pretty nice card, especially for non-AGP Macintosh machines. And what came with it was the driver CD and a floppy of apparently the flashing software to get it working on a Macintosh and some instructions. Let's see if these instructions are still good here. The way to the Mac card. It's exactly how this is titled. Oh, this is very interesting. If this is your first attempt to flash a card, be carefully. Oh, this is great. I changed something in the flashrom.rom config file for the flashrom program with two M's to support this card. If you have downloaded an other ATI flash util, please use only this one. Put both this and a free run this program, blah 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 blah. Ooh, double-sided printing. Start ATI ROM updater. If you don't have the Apple drivers, yeah. So there's, and it looks like the text got cut off there. Yeah, it's bad English. Hurts me a little inside, but yes, this is a Radeon 7000. Looks like a Sapphire card. Got the original Windows driver there, which is nice. So yeah, I do have one of these cards that I think I put in a power computing machine. And I think it worked, actually. Interesting that the S-video jumper is in the PAL position here. There's a little jumper here that could be NTSC or PAL. Looks like it's set in PAL. I'm going to change that to NTSC because that will probably cause me trouble in the future. Probably forget all about it. So yeah, that is now in NTSC mode there, which is good. But yeah, this will be fun to play around with. Let me put that in here. Just catching up on the chat. Where did I get the items from? There was a very nice gentleman named Jim who was on one of the Facebook groups who was selling a bunch of stuff, and we got into a conversation. And I ended up accruing a shopping list from him. So yeah, that's how that happened. Oh, there was another video card. Looks like I might have taken it out here. Let me see if it's here. Let me see which one it is here. Yes. Here it is. So this is, just reading the label here because I don't have too much information about this. This is a Matrox video card. They were a huge company back in the day. Very popular, very high-end, especially in the early 2000s when I first read about them. So this is a Matrox video card. It has, you know, a VGA connector on the side there. Then it has one of these breakout adapters. That's not DB15. It has 3 rows. So I believe this is, let me read the card here, Matrox video card, VGA, tested, working, Macintosh 8500, 9.2, 4 megabytes of video memory. So, yeah, this is, yeah, it doesn't have the RAM upgrade here, so you can see that's what these 2 slots are. Good eye pseudos. Or it might have been like a DVD decoder add-on. You know, some of them had stuff like that. But, yeah, you know, these were pretty interesting little devices there. This claims it's Mac compatible, so maybe it doesn't have acceleration, but the little post-it note here said it was tested. VGA worked in a Mac 8500. So, yeah, that will be interesting to play around with, see what we could get working on that. And this little booklet here was included. I think I brought one of the Ethernet cards downstairs, so I didn't bring it back up here. This is an Asanti Friendly Net adapter was included in here. And this is just a little booklet for it. It's nice. It has just some diagrams here of some of the local talk and Ethernet adapters and AAUI adapters and all this stuff. And so this is sort of a generic product manual because it goes over a few different things. If I could go to the right page here. Where was I looking at? Yeah, I mean, this is just the instruction manual for this Ethernet adapter. So it's not even the card. I think it's just the adapter for it. But, yeah. So, yes, they paired the best with the Voodoo card. I have one. Last time I tested, couldn't get to work. In fact, they were the card to go with the Voodoo or Voodoo 2 on a PC. Well, that's very interesting. And in the little bag here, I have some goodies. Here's an official Apple Ethernet twisted pair transceiver. So you have Ethernet T-base on the back of the adapter here, and your little AAUI adapter socket on this end here. So the whole idea was, while Apple was making its late 68K machines and its early Power PC machines, the standard for Ethernet wasn't really decided yet. A lot of different companies went different ways. And so the idea behind this was Apple had the Ethernet chipset on the motherboard of the computer and just put a proprietary adapter on it. So what you do is you take one of these little ports, you plug it into your motherboard, and then you'd adapt it to whatever flavor of Ethernet you wanted, whether it was, you know, the BNC connector type, the thin net, or, you know, your standard T-base internet. So it's powered fully from the AAUI port, which is nice, and you'll get these little activity lights on the left and the right lighting up rather. When you adapt it. And these are made by plenty of companies. This is just an official Apple one. I do have a few of these still sealed in the bag. There's nothing too special about them, but apparently I was chatting with someone in the UK, and they were like, oh, they're hard to find over here. And I did an eBay search in the UK, and sure enough, they're not cheap. So I guess, you know, there were plenty of them available elsewhere, but you know, maybe people just threw them out, or maybe there's just not a surplus of them on eBay anymore. Second thing in the bag is a little Farallon phone net adapter. This is a handy little adapter when you want to do like a little local talk network. Instead of using Apple's local talk cables, you basically use one of these adapters and use your standard phone line. This does have the terminator in there that is required, which is cool. So those are nice to have. You can build your own if you lose it. But yeah, so I'm going to do a video on these. Always having one more adapter doesn't hurt. These are a very interesting concept from Farallon, these little phone net adapters. You can basically make an expansive network with just a bunch of these cheap boxes. They're about 15, 20 bucks, and a bunch of phone cable. Much, much less expensive than Apple's official offering. Trina asks, when are you going to do a live stream of testing all of these new items? I think this will probably be one of those things where it's spread out. The next item I'm going to show you is probably the first one you'll see me testing, because that's something I've been waiting on testing here. So let me get those out and ready here. Let's see what this one is. Yep. And here. Okay, so move the box over there. Let's see. They were rare out there because it's always been behind the internet stuff. Half the UK, for instance, installed in TSL. Oh, well, that would kind of make sense. Oop, knocking into things in my room here. Again, very close quarters here. Okay, so here we have something. Sexy legs. Oh, God. Yes, I'm wearing shorts. If I could get the tape off of this package. Yes, I am much earlier than normal. I was working from home today, so after work, I was able to do a stream instead of waiting. And I can't do one later tonight because Mac84 is on tonight at 8 p.m. So about 2 hours from now, I'll be on the Mac84 show for an hour and a half. So if you grow tired of not hearing my voice, well, you can come join us there. Everyone will be there. We'll be having a party. So join us on the Mac84 YouTube channel. That's M-A-C-Y-A-K. Oh, wow, I cannot spell today. M-A-C-Y-A... No, yeah, Y-A-K. Well, that just came out weird. Don't stream for too long, Steve. I'm not going to. I promise. Okay, we got tape everywhere here. This is worth it. I trust you. Ah, okay. Well, I will try and do some early live streams as time allows. So, I don't think this needs any introduction. Just based on the logo there, you guys could probably guess what graphics card I'm holding here. I'll let everyone's jaws not stop dropping. This is a really cool Game Wizard Microconversions Incorporated 3DFX Voodoo card. I believe it's a Voodoo 2 card. From what I understand, from what the seller told me, this should be a 12 megabyte version, which is pretty neat. So this is a Voodoo 2 card, has 12 megabytes of memory on it. So you see the memory chips are on the back and on the front. So this should be a 12 megabyte model. What's nice is this is the Macintosh version. So you have your DB15 port here, and then you have your pass-through port here. Now, I've never used one of these at all. Never. I've never used one of these. I'm excited to play around with one of these. And what's in this little box is the pass-through cable that you need. So basically you have your standard Macintosh video output goes here. You plug that into the Macintosh. Then the Voodoo card will do its magic and process the video, and then your monitor plugs into here. At least that's what I believe is supposed to get this working. See you later, Bruce. See you later tonight. So yeah, this is a pretty neat card. I'm very excited to play around with this. I have not played around with any of these really, and so it's going to be a new experience for me. My understanding for the pass-through port is apparently this was the best way to get video in and out of these. Dropping loads of frames. OBS says I'm dropping 0 frames, and everything is good. I'm exporting at over 6,000 kilobytes per second. So if it's dropping frames, it may not be on my end, but if it is, sorry about that. Everything looks green on my end. But yeah, so it'll be fun to play around with one of these. And I have the little Mac adapter thing also. What's nice is, if I could put this down here, there's another card that I was given also. And I originally didn't want this one, but I figured it might not hurt while I'm testing things out. If I get it out of the bag, that is. There we go. This is another Voodoo 2 card. This is a Creative Labs Voodoo card. So it's this is the PC version. This is not the Macintosh version. You'll see it has 2 VGA ports there. And thankfully I do have the pass-through cable that's required for this as well. So we have our little VGA connector here, and so this will work very similarly to the Macintosh type. I believe this is also a 12 meg version, not as crazy as some of the ones you see on eBay that are much higher in capacity and such. But I want to have Voodoo cards. I just wanted one of them, but two would not be bad, because I do have, and the box is downstairs, so I can't get it. I was recently, as a few months ago, the proud winner on eBay of a Game Wizard 3DFX Voodoo card for the iMac. That's the original Bondi Blue. I'm sorry, Bondi Blue. See, Bruce isn't here. I'm already screwing up. iMac. So that's the fancy card that you put into the machine and through that mezzanine slot, and you could actually use that video card on the iMac, which had a very low-end ATI Rage card compared to the Voodoo card. So that's something that will be really fun to play around with. But I'd like to compare that video with the PCI version on, let's say, a blue and white G3. So that'll be a lot of fun. Looks like video frames are apparently dropping. I apologize if that's the case. Everything looks good on my end, so it doesn't look like there's anything I could do to tinker with things. So sorry about that, but hopefully it's not too terrible of an experience. But we won't be going on too much longer here. I just have a few more things I want to talk about, and then I gotta get ready for MacYak, so it won't be too long. Drop the quality to 480p and it fixes it. Well, that's a shame. Well, we're not doing anything too detailed here, so I guess, yeah. But yeah, so I have the Game Wizard for the iMac, which is pretty hard to find. And once I found that, I thought, well, I want to do a video about that, and I want to compare, let's say, a game like Unreal Tournament or Quake. I want to compare it with the video, let's say, of me playing a game on the iMac versus a blue and white G3, like a desktop G3, and then versus a PC. So now I have the cards to do that, so I'm excited to play around with that, which will be fun. These are going to be something that's new to me because I haven't really played around with any of the Voodoo stuff. Growing up, I didn't really have a PC that was like a gaming PC or anything like that. And by the time I got into games, the PC I built was around, I think it was around 2003 or 2004. And by then it was ATI or NVIDIA was pretty much what most people bought. And I didn't really look into the Voodoo stuff. So these will be exciting to play around with. I am very excited to do some testing and see how that stuff goes. There is no video, to my knowledge, on YouTube of anybody playing around with the iMac Voodoo card because they are quite uncommon to find. So one of my goals is to document the heck out of it and do a cool little video about it, so people have an understanding of what it is, what it can do, what it can't do, so on and so forth. Because now there's a lot of things that people say, oh, well, you could do this with it, you could do that with it, or this works so much better, etc. Yeah, so what I'll do is, let me shut up while I put the thing in the bag. What I will likely do is do a video just on the Voodoo card, and I might do some little comparisons in that video, but there might be a follow-up video where I do, further testing and comparisons. So yeah, those are the things from the one box I unboxed. I do have a few more little things to show you just while we're here. Once in a while I do see things on eBay. I'll do a watch on it or something, and sometimes I'll be able to snag it. Oh, sorry, a bunch of chat floating by here. Yeah, I'll post it on Twitter and all that fun stuff, and I'll promote it in its due time. I have to. What I'm sort of dreading is taking apart that iMac, because when I took it apart for the video I did last year, it wasn't it wasn't the hardest thing I've ever taken apart, but it wasn't easy, and it was just the plastics can be very fragile, and I was very afraid I was going to break something, but thankfully that wasn't the case. The plastic did not break on it, but I feel like every time I'm going to open up that machine, there's a risk of breaking it. So be very careful. Yes, I will use all the hashtags. You should see me on Instagram. I used to post every single hashtag on the planet. All right, so the next thing here, one of you guys might be able to guess what this is. It looks very similar to something else. not exactly a rare item or anything like that, but something that I thought, well, might as well have it in my collection here. I have the machine that it goes with. So for those of you who don't know, what's nice about this little adapter here, this is for the Macintosh 2SI. And so the Macintosh 2SI was one I recapped not too long ago. And the Macintosh 2SI does not have a traditional NuBus slot. It has a PDS slot. And so what this lets you do is it lets you plug into that PDS slot and gives you a normal NuBus card slot to plug into, which is nice. So you have the ability to use like a full 7-inch video card or something like that, and you know, all that fun stuff. So this is has a copyright date of 1990 on here. The model number is 820-030-02, and then there's a serial number on this. They did sell similar adapters for like network cards and stuff like that. One of them I think I've seen, if I'm not mistaken, is one of these that has a math coprocessor on it and some networking capabilities and stuff like that. But this is just your standard NuBus card angle adapter type thing, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to play around with it in my Macintosh 2SI. There was one of these on eBay that was going for about 50 bucks. It had the box and the documentation and stuff. It was very tempting to get that. The auction ended over a bit. I think it was $50 or so. The shipping was an additional $15, $20. I got this. It's just the bare thing. The metal's a little bent up. It doesn't have the screw holes or anything. It doesn't have the plastic cover or anything like that. And yeah, this is like 20 bucks. So I'm much happier. I'm going to use it probably a handful of times. I'm not going to go crazy spending a lot of money just for something that has a box. Don't get me wrong. It'd be cool to have the box and packaging for it, but I'm not going to. It doesn't mean that much to me to spend on that. I am noticing there is one single 47 microfarad 16 volt capacitor right here. That's a screw right here on the board. One tiny little capacitor there. So we'll make sure we've replaced that. But yeah, this will enable me to use a nicer video card on that Macintosh or a networking card or something that I want to plug into there. So that's a nice little thing to have. I think if anybody has a Macintosh 2SI, they should consider getting one of those. So yes, I will consider putting a little heatsink on there if it gets too hot, especially it's compact inside of that Macintosh, the iMac rather. Too bad you can't plug in those things externally. But welcome back, Matt. So got 2 more things to show you here, and then we'll wrap it up. And I left one of the things off camera, so I have to stretch, grab something. There we go. So this I picked up locally, actually. Paid all of $5 for it, and I think it's a pretty neat find. So Philip got a reject on for a beige G3 tower. Oh, that's sad. That's, yeah. I don't know if a beige G3 tower is a museum piece unless it's like the G3 mini tower with all the intact bezels in the box and all that stuff. But to each their own. I mean, the seller's got to make their profit, I guess. But anyway, I got something I normally do not see. I don't think I've ever seen one of these in the wild in the United States before. And that is a Sony mini disc player. So if you've seen my video, you probably have not, because when I did the video of me in Japan, I don't have a lot of views on that at all. When I went to Japan, I did some thrifting, and I got a mini disc player there. And so these were not really popular in the United States. I remember seeing them in the stores, and I remember seeing that they were often selling at huge discounts. And unfortunately, one of the stores that used to sell these on a huge discount, if that store is still alive, they would probably they still sell them because they had so much of them. I would go there and purchase them. But yeah, these were not really popular outside of Europe or Japan. I mean, well, let's just say they weren't exactly as popular in the United States as they were in Europe or Japan. No, that was not for our honeymoon, but we went with a bunch of friends in Japan, so that was fun. You didn't have one. I have 2. Yeah, so I did have, I actually have 3 mini disc handheld players right now. I have 2 desktop players or standalone like hi-fi equipment players. They don't work. And I'll tell you a quick story about those in a second. But what's nice about this is I think I have it in the little box here. So I saw this. We were in an antique store locally, and I looked up as I already walked out. I was about to walk out, and I saw this box, and sure enough, the little player was inside here. We got warranty card information. We got advertisements for Sony's blank media here. Oh, that's cool, Philip. That's a great place to go. We have read this important information before using your headset. We got the limited warranty card, and we have the manual for this. So this model is, let's read the back of this here, MZR90, and it's actually a recorder too. It's not just a player, which is nice. And so what's nice about this is I do not have a recorder. I believe all the ones I have, actually no, wait. I think the other Sony one I do have is a recorder, but this is just a very nice little unit here. So this is very tiny. It is a mini disc player here. It is a recorder model too, which is nice. So it has a line-in optical recording and then a microphone in as well. And the little mini discs come right out here. The one it came with was actually this orange one, which is a Sony branded one, which is pretty neat looking. And yeah, so unfortunately this thing came to me with a terribly corroded battery. You might have seen a post on Instagram or Twitter of that, and just this battery slot, I couldn't even open this little door here, and it's quite fragile too. It's not a really hardy thing here. I couldn't open the darn thing because it was just corroded shut. And yeah, so I very carefully opened the little door here, and it was just caked. It seems to be a nice word that everyone likes me using. It seemed to be caked with corrosive stuff from the battery just leaking all over. So yeah, so these actually record on these little magneto optical discs here. So I believe you can store about 80 minutes uncompressed. Maybe it's a little more compressed, depending on your model. As they prolonged the format, they had better compression and stuff like that. But there's this little disc in these little caddies, and it's magnetic recording here, and it sort of has similar technology to a CD as far as the optics go. But very, very interesting technology here. Yes, just like Philip said, magnetically recording and optical reading. They're very, very robust. Now, unfortunately, the standalone desktop unit I have, you put a disc in and it ejects it right away. So there must be something wrong with it. That sort of got me on a hunt for a player, which unfortunately I paid $60 on, only to put a disc in. The disc came out, and then I saw the little read head from the mini disc player just inside of the player itself. So that must have been broken, unfortunately. So I still have that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's a really nice unit. It has a keyboard input in the front. It was a high-end, it was either an Onkyo or a TIAC, one of those brands. And it was just crazy. I'm very upset that didn't work out, but when you get things used, you never know what's going to happen with them. So this came with a few cables. It came with like a little plastic battery holder. Unfortunately, it did not come with the remote, which goes in here. A lot of these players have a remote that basically does a lot of the functions that you can't do on the device itself. Thankfully, this has a built-in screen, has built-in playback controls here, so I'm not missing out too much. But it would be nice to have all the accessories with this. What is cool, though, is I do have another Sony one. It's one of those sports ones, so it's like white and orange. And that seems to work fine. That runs on regular AA batteries, so I don't have to worry about the rechargeable gum stick battery like this one has. And the other one I have is a Kenwood model, has a little speaker dock. Could use a bit of cleaning, I think. The little dock doesn't want to work. I think I paid about $30 or $40 for that when I was in Japan. And I thought, well, I'm never going to be here anytime soon again. Let me get a mini disc player, and then I found this one. But it's nice to have, a few players. I think that one will play the LP mode stuff, and I think this is, let's see, there was a logo on the side of it. I don't think this does the MDLP. or maybe the other one I got does the NetMD. You know, there are many different compression things and such, and I literally inherited a bunch of discs that I got off locally, not locally, but it was one of these things where I saw it and I ordered it from somewhere, and it just had random radio programs on there. So I just want to make sure I could play it. Yeah, so I did not pay the $349 sticker on there. That was, I don't know what store this was at, but somebody, well, it says, it's funny enough, on the top of it says, it looks like it says Roy, R-O-Y, and it looks like it says $40. So maybe somebody tried to sell this for $40 years ago. But what's interesting is when I asked the shop owner if they had any more of them, because they're an antique store, you never know what they have. The woman's like, oh, years ago we had a bunch of them and they went like crazy and this was the last one. So yeah, must have been at least 10 years ago, I think she said. Yeah, so a lot of interesting codecs with that thing, and be happy to play around with that. So one more thing I want to show you guys, in keeping with my love of vintage old technology, and you probably saw this on Instagram if you follow me there. But this, I came across, when did I see this? I saw this, I think, last year sometime, and I passed on it then because it was a little too expensive for me. And then I recently picked it up because it was just going to waste there. So this is a little Radio Shack color CRT monitor. It's quite a long one, or deep rather, and it's just a little color CRT television. What's neat is, well, a few things about it. It actually has a little handle here, so it's a portable little unit. And it does have a section for batteries if you want to probably watch all the 10 minutes of video on this thing. So there's this plastic sled on the bottom. Let's see if I can get it out here. Yeah. So there's this little plastic apparatus at the bottom, and you basically load your batteries in here. I believe those are D-cell batteries. Oh my goodness, it takes 9 of them. So if you wanted to put 9 D-cell batteries in here, what's pretty neat about this is, oh, I didn't notice that you have a little height adjustment stand here, this little thing, so it could rise up a little bit. But essentially, you load the batteries in here, and you have this little connector here, and if the batteries were there, you could feed this back in. We currently have a power adapter here, but you feed this back in, and there, your batteries are now powering your little television. So not bad. It's a Radio Shack model called a Portavision. Date code 4A5, whatever that means. Manufactured in Malaysia for Radio Shack, a division of Tandy Corporation. It's really cool to see that. So the screen isn't bad. I would not really have gotten this if it weren't for the composite video input on the back, because otherwise with adapters and stuff like that, it would have been a little cumbersome to get any video signal from here. We do have adjustment knobs. We do have an external antenna port here, and this will do VHF and UHF, and obviously the external input you have there. So let me put this down for a second. Oh, my phone is buzzing. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me respond to this real quick. And what I want to do, just before we end here, we have a big old power brick here for that TV. So I just want to turn it on and just show you, what it does. Let me see if, I don't know if it's actually going to fit in that power socket there. You know what? I have a power strip here. Let's see if it'll fit in there. We'll go behind the camera here. This is a big old power brick. Look, this is my hand. This is the power brick. This is a chunky thing. Look at that. Okay, I managed to not unplug the computer while I was plugging that in, so that's good. So yeah, let's focus back on me here. Let's see if we got this working correctly. So And I think we turn it on from the volume here. Yep, there we go. There you go. And you see that little line? That's alright, Pseudos. Catch you later. So that little line is basically scanning for channels, but yeah, there's no channels broadcast on these frequencies really anymore. So even if I extend the pretty lengthy antenna there, I don't think it's going to catch anything. And if you watch the video I did on the Sony Walkman a while back, you can put a signal in here. This is much easier because it has those ports on the back. But yeah, there is a switch here on the back to switch to monitor mode, but that doesn't really do anything since I don't have anything plugged in. But yeah, it's just going to keep on searching the signal here. I can switch between these inputs. Back in the day, that actually would do something. We didn't have a black and white one. We didn't have a color one back in the day. My parents, my father, he liked thrifting stuff too, and he actually had a black and white one of these, and it had an adapter so we could watch TV in the car. And this was well into the time of black and white TVs being like, why is there a black and white TV? Why isn't it color? But that's what we had. So once in a while, if we would go on a road trip across the state or across multiple states, we'd have a little TV for me and my brothers to keep occupied in the back of the car, watch The Simpsons on or stuff like that. So that was battery powered too. But yeah, so it's a cute little TV here. It's quite bulky, which just, I don't know, just makes me laugh. I will try messing around with this at some point or another. Maybe watch some, play a game on it or watch some TV on it, do a little video or something like that. But yeah, I think it's a pretty neat little device. And something I think you'll be seeing in a future video as I play around with it. So that's pretty much what I had to show you guys today. I don't know if you have any questions or anything like that. Don't forget we will be on doing the Mac84 podcast, video podcast show, whatever you want to call it, in about, let's say, an hour and a half. So you'll see me and Jay and whoever else will be on the show. Bruce, most likely, Greg, maybe another Greg. You'll see us on the show in case you get bored. But oh yes, Philip, I miss CRTs also. I'm very glad I held on to. I think I got rid of a few, but I still have most of mine are Apple CRTs. I do have a little Sony one that unfortunately is not like aligned perfectly. I think it was like $10, so I can't complain. And then I have a Dell one that works okay. And I have a Samsung SyncMaster one, which I still have to mess with some of the wires in, but works pretty well. But yeah, CRTs were a lot of fun. Unfortunately, some of them are reaching their end of life, and they're a pain to store and just stack, and just, you run out of space real quick with a lot of CRTs. I have a bunch of iMacs now. Pseudos just gave me an iMac, and I'm running out of space to store those things because they're pretty bulky. You can't really stack them, and yeah, so yeah. But yeah, for those of you who've never used a CRT, they could be easier on your eyes than an LCD, especially the original LCDs that came out, and they're really sharp too. You could you could have a multi-sync CRT that supports many different resolutions, and you use a low resolution on a computer screen for games or something, and it's pin sharp. You don't have any anything weird going on with the picture. But yeah, I guess that's about it. So I appreciate you guys watching this stream. Just stay tuned for MacYak. That's going to start in about an hour and a half, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'll see you guys there. I'm working on some cool stuff that I want to show you, but I know it's been almost a week since my last stream because I am working on other stuff, but just wanted to, punch in, say hello, play around with some of this stuff, show you guys some of this stuff, and yeah, I'll be playing around with a lot of this stuff on future live streams, I'm sure. Yes, and maybe we'll watch some DVDs on that little CRT. But thanks, Philip. Thanks, Trina. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Pseudos. Thanks, everybody who's been hanging around. And I'll see you on MacYak in a little bit. So take care, guys. And yeah, see you in a little bit. Thanks for watching.